Hello everyone and welcome to the very first episode of the Checkered Flag Debrief podcast. So this is something I've wanted to do for quite a long time, but I'm a journalism student at uni, so I haven't really had a chance with everything that we had going on last year and different modules and article writing and all the fun stuff like that. But when podcast module came up just this last week, I was like, this is my chance. I'm finally going to do it. So I'm just a girl with a passion for Formula One and a degree to get finished. And hopefully this can be a nice, fun, safe place for a lot of people to talk about Formula One and their passion for motorsport. It doesn't really matter if you've been a die-hard avid fan of Formula One for years, or if you've just discovered it, maybe through Drive to Survive, through YouTube, through Instagram. None of that matters. Everyone is welcome here, so come on in, sit down, get cozy, put a hat on, and let's talk about Formula One. So, before we get into the podcast, I would just love to say that I'm really excited to be doing this, and I'm really excited to maybe grow this as much as I can and carry it on into my future career. My big life dream is to be a Formula One broadcaster or just content creating. I just want to do anything to do with Formula One and motorsport. Over on the Checkered Flag Debrief Instagram account every week, which I'm going to link here, there is going to be question boxes, polls, Q&As, just anything. And there's going to be contact information so that you can ask me questions that you want to be answered, and I'll use my investigative skills as best as I can to try and get those answered and researched for you. I'm thinking maybe I should be having some guests on. I'm just trying to find a couple of people. It will probably be a couple of my friends, people that I talk to about Formula One, anyone with a passion for the sport. If you would like to be a guest, reach out. I would absolutely love that. That would be really fun. I really just want to have fun with this. And I think that in such a dark place in the world at the minute, we need escapisms, and Formula One and motorsport is a very fun and passion-filled environment, and maybe not everyone feels very welcome or comfortable in the fan base, and I don't want it to be like that here. I want everyone to feel safe and comfortable, like they can talk about the thing that they care about and the things that they love. So we're going to be talking about F1 news, F1 gossip, race week, and when the season starts, there's going to be an episode every week after the races. So those episodes will be filmed on the Monday directly after a race Sunday and posted on the Friday, so that's very fun. And believe me, I can talk for England, I just stutter a little bit. So there's going to be a little bit of choppy editing where I've said a full sentence, gotten straight to the end without stuttering, and then I've messed up the last word. So my phone storage is going to hate me for this, but that's okay. It's worth it. So for the very first episode, I feel like it's only fitting that we talk about things that have happened in the last week. So when I'm filming this, I'm on Wednesday now, so Barcelona testing week started on Monday, Barcelona Shakedown week. You may be thinking, right, if this is the Checkered Flag debrief, why are we talking about stuff that's not happened yet? Why are we talking about the 2026 season if we're in the off-season still? Well, to that I say, it's been a very long 90-day break in the winter, okay? Pre-season testing has started. I'm ready to get back in. I think a lot of us are feeling the same, and it's time to get back in. 90 days is too long. And technically we're not that far away from the season actually starting. Pre-season testing has started this week in Barcelona Shakedown week. I'm calling it Formula 51, but we'll get onto that later. And the season starts in March in Australia, Oscar Piastri's home Grand Prix. And that's not that far away. We're talking like a couple of weeks maybe. So what are we going to be talking about for the rest of this 90-day period? Well, Barcelona has officially started. Barcelona testing week is a chance for all of the teams to test out their new cars under new regulations, and basically just gives them a week to start sorting out all of the kinks in their car that they maybe haven't spotted beforehand. So it gives them a real life scenario to test the cars out in, which can be quite good. In Formula One testing, usually they make it so that fans are able to go, and even if fans aren't able to be there, they'll at least let some media and press people in. Whereas with Barcelona this week, they've kind of booted everyone out a little bit, which has been a bit shocking, hence Formula 51. I don't know if some of you will remember when, I think it maybe was like 2020 or 2021, when there was a really big fixation with Area 51 in America. And everyone was like, oh, they can't stop us all, let's all go, let's riot Area 51, they'll let us in, there's aliens in there. So I've been calling it Formula 51 this week for Barcelona testing. And the reason I've been calling it that is because not only did they say that fans, they let down, I think it was 14,000 fans weren't able to go in, and a lot of broadcasting and news people, but they're also distributing their own like images and videos so that press can still write things about it. But I just thought it was really strange. Like, I kind of understand it, because I think it was 2015 that had 3 pre-season tests. I mean, the most likely thing is that there's a lot of new regulation and car changes, so they don't want fans in there witnessing potential breakdowns, which there have been quite a few of them, and crashes as well. So I can kind of understand why they've said no public, no press. But the thing that I found strange was they have like a security team around the outskirts of the track that are moving people onwards from public places, because those public places see onto the track from a couple of hills around the circuit. So it is Formula 51. I'm quite proud of that title, actually, so I'm coining that one. It is the first time in the modern era of Formula 1 where there's a test with the majority of the teams there, not Williams, we'll talk about that later, where there's been a complete lockdown from the outside world for the teams. We know what most of the cars look like, but we don't know how they perform yet. But it's almost turned into like a controlled blackout. And Williams aren't there. Williams are not present. So we'll talk about that later. But the majority of the teams are there, except Williams. It's the first season since 2015 with 3 pre-season tests. So they have a week of tests in Barcelona now, and then they'll move on to more tests during February, before the season starts on the 6th of March in Australia. It's the first time in the modern era of Formula 1 where the majority of teams are there, but we're kind of completely out of the loop on what's going on. Normally we have like at least a glimpse. They at least broadcast some of it live. But it wasn't just fans that weren't allowed in. It was also a lot of press and a lot of like journalists and media places. Those media and broadcasting people are all being given images and videos and like little tiny snippets of intel that they're allowed to distribute on their accounts and things. So it's not like we're completely in the dark, but no one was allowed in. It was so strange. So that's caused quite a bit of a ruckus this week, as you will. On to Williams. The new Williams car for 2026, the FW48, they've reportedly failed multiple crash tests with the new car and the chassis. And they then fixed those problems. They've added 30 kilograms of weight onto the car that they need to now shed before the 6th of March. And if they don't shed it, they'll be there, but they'll be very, very slow. But the reason it added so much weight by fixing the chassis was because they had to reinforce it. And that's good, because otherwise it would have been really dangerous. But now they're 30 kilograms overweight with weeks to go until the start of the season. So it's safe to say it's going to be a pretty interesting year. So we'll see how all of the things with Williams plays out, and with the other teams as well. So I think it'll be interesting to see how the season plays out for a lot of different teams. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty interesting season by the looks of things so far. And just to finish this segment off, a news notification that James Vowles has come out and spoken about all of the issues that Williams have had this week. And he has actually come out and said that they don't know whether the car is overweight or not. He also said that they won't know whether the car is underweight, overweight, right on where it needs to be until Bahrain testing, which is quite odd. And you could argue that it is probably just the rumour mill, because the rumour mill is intense in Formula One, as a lot of people will know. Like thinking about I think it was the summer break when all of that stuff came out about Max maybe moving over to Mercedes at some point, and Max was spotted on a yacht with Toto Wolff. So yeah, I think the rumour mill does have a really big, I don't want to say negative impact, but it is a negative impact on Formula One. And just the world in general. The rumour mill sucks. Looking at my Fleetwood Mac Rumours album right next to me. It's not about you, Stevie, don't worry. And moving on from that, speaking about Barcelona testing, today George Russell set the fastest lap of the Barcelona testing week so far. George racked up, I think it was about just over 100 laps on Monday when he took over from Kimi, but he's had a hell of a week. I honestly think George Russell's time has been coming for a long time. He's not always had the pace, true, but he is such a dedicated driver, and we know that because of multiple things, but primarily because of the PowerPoint he made to go to Mercedes, which honestly, fair enough. I might do that for Sky Sports one day. I'll just make a PowerPoint as to all of the reasons why they should hire me. And it's not this podcast, because there's a lot of things I need to get better at. Lando and Oscar had a good start to their testing today after taking the McLaren out for the first time this week. Lando got in about 30 laps, I think it was. However, George didn't stay at the top of that table for very long, as he soon after got replaced by Kimi, who then put in the fastest lap on the timesheets. James also said that Williams is going to be running their own form of shakedown testing before Bahrain in a couple of weeks, because they'll have missed the whole of the Barcelona Shakedown. But they've also said that they've passed all the necessary tests, the car is safe now. But is it overweight? We need to know. And just on other random Formula One news from this week is Kelly Piquet, Max Verstappen's partner, mother of his child. She posted a flashback carousel of pictures for... There's a trend at the minute where 2026 is the new 2016, so everyone's posting their 2016 flashback photos, kind of like a throwback Thursday, but for 2016 at the minute. And Kelly Piquet, who, if some of you don't know, she is Nelson Piquet's daughter, and she was formerly in a relationship with a Formula One driver for Red Bull called Daniel Kvyat, and they shared a child together. He had a Red Bull seat, he was in Formula One, and then comes along teenage Max Verstappen, who outperforms him at Red Bull, is given his Red Bull seat, his girlfriend falls in love with him, and they now have a child together. A lot of people see this as a very controversial subject in Formula One. So for this 2016 flashback trend, Kelly Piquet posts this carousel of pictures from 2016, and one of the final ones was a picture of her and Max, and it was about how they was celebrating their 5-year anniversary recently. I can't remember the specific wording, but she says something like, and also in 2016 she met this young man, and then the next day he told her she was the love of his life. So in 2016, Max would have already been 19 at this point. But fans were not too happy about her posting this, because their relationship is already quite controversial, because he was a teenager when they got together. And they do have a slight age gap. That's been a subject for a lot of discourse this week. So the second segment of the first ever episode of the Checkered Flag Debrief, I thought it would be quite fun to do some of my Formula One hot takes. So hot takes are unpopular opinions, or opinions that might be a little bit controversial in a subject. And let me tell you, I have a few. So let's get started, shall we? And moving on from this, if I've got guests on the show, I can ask them for their hot takes as well. I know, clever clogs me. So my first hot take of this week is, I think the second seat Red Bull curse could be broken by Isaac Hadjar for the first one. And I really don't know what makes me say this. I think he was very impressive last season, and I know that Red Bull have the habit of moving drivers up to the main Red Bull team before they're ready, and then booting them out when they don't perform as well as Max does, which is kind of insane because Max is a very experienced driver now, and even when Max started, he was what I would call like a ready-made driver. He was a driver to go. Ordered him, he was there, he fit the brief. But Isaac was very impressive last season, so we'll see how that goes. My second hot take I don't think is too much of a hot take. I think a lot of people agreed with this last season. I really don't agree with the WAGs being on screen for that much. We missed a lot of action because the WAGs were being shown on screen last season. Carlos Sainz completed a lot of overtakes and had a lot of action on him during that race, and we didn't really get shown much of it. I don't know if it was the same for other broadcast channels, but with Sky Sports, there was a lot of footage of the WAGs watching the race, which I love the WAGs personally. I really love the WAGs. They're gorgeous, they're amazing. They all have amazing careers as well. Like, Alexandra, Charles's fiancée, has an art history degree. Oscar's girlfriend, Lily, is an engineer. I feel like if we're going to have them on screen as much, I'd like to know more about that. I want to know more about them. I don't want to just see so-and-so's girlfriend. Like, oh, this is Lando's partner, Oscar's partner. I want to know more about them. I want more interviews with the WAGs, personally. And my final hot take of the week is I am so fed up of people saying, you only like F1 because of the drivers, you only like F1 because of the drivers, you only like F1 because of the drivers. To be honest, I am kind of sick of it. It's kind of icky. Like, I really wish people would stop saying that. I would rather have the conversations where someone is like, well, what does DRS stand for? What does this stand for? I'd rather be interrogated about my knowledge of the sport than someone say, you only care about it because the drivers are good looking. It just grates on me. It's just irritating and I'm fed up of it. We're in the big 2026 now, people. Come on. So, in the idea of staying unbiased, I would like to point out it's not just McLaren hats behind me. There is also a Mercedes hat. This episode has been slightly shorter than the ones that will be going forward. I'm going to aim for about half an hour to 45-minute episodes each week. Obviously, because I've just started and everything, I wanted to test all my software out, I wanted to test all my equipment out, and try and come up with segment ideas. A lot more planning is going into next week's episode. I'm going to try and have a guest on for next week, but we'll see how that goes. That might be one for a couple of episodes down the line. I'm sorry it's been so rocky. I'm sorry that it's been quite choppy. I'm still trying to get used to talking consistently. And it has made me realise how much I say and like in sentences, so that needs to stop. But I am also thinking about maybe doing a couple of episodes will be in a home studio, as much as I could make it, and a couple of episodes will be in a real studio, and I'll have some Formula 1 stuff behind me and Formula 1 propaganda. But yeah, please let me know what you guys would like to talk about. If I can have some of you on, maybe, to talk about things. I would love to have a discussion panel about Formula 1 news and events and gossip. That would be really amazing. And please stay tuned for Friday episodes if you can. I don't know yet where this is going to be available, but once I know, it'll be uploaded and I'll keep everyone updated on the Instagram page, the Checkered Flag Debrief. So yeah, please let me know what you guys would like to hear about, what you'd like to talk about, any questions you've got. Just topics for the week in general, really. And I will see you next week on the Checkered Flag Debrief.